Hey vinyl community, so I was back at the record store today browsing through the 25-cent record bins, and I have pulled out some gems for us to review and talk about. Again, like my first video, pulled out the ones that look to be the most interesting or look the most ridiculous, so we can have some fun with this in this episode. First one that I picked out is Cleo Lane and James Galway. Sometimes when we touch. So apparently Cleo Lane was a English vocalist. This album is from 1980, and James Galway plays the flute. So basically the message from this front cover is that a flute in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? It's got Sometimes When We Touch, the title track on here. Play It Again, Sam. The Fluter's Ball is on here. Consuelo's Love Theme. Anyone Could Whistle. Lo, Hear the Gentle Lark, Like a Sad Song. And a lot of these have liner notes. It seems the cheaper the album, the more likely they are to have liner notes. And the liner notes for this gem say, "This is not a classical pop or jazz album. It is a collection of fine songs written by composers whose lives span 4 centuries, performed by 2 unique artists and good friends." At the start, Drifting Dreaming asked, "Is utopia so hard to find?" Surely a question to be answered in the negative by all who hear this arrangement of Sadie's Gymnopedie, caressed and colored by the golden tones of Cleo's voice and James's flute. So anyway, I'm not going to read any more of the liner notes, but getting a little close there. Woo! So that's a fun one. And that is on the RCA record label. The Red Seal. Haven't seen too many of those. Next one is Peewee and Fingers, which just gives me the shivers, just even saying that title. Here's the happiest get-together since Stanley found Livingston. Peewee and Fingers join forces. Peewee and Fingers should never be uttered in the same sentence, let alone joining forces. And I know this was a more innocent age, but I'm sorry. Something about it just strikes me as funny. So W. Gerhart Hunt III, known to all his friends as Peewee, of course, I mean, what else would you call him, is the famous trombonist whose recordings of such classics as 12th Street Rag and Oh. Yeah, apparently there's a song called Oh, which I'd love to hear that song. Have delighted audiences from coast to coast. At the other end of this joyful juncture is Joe Fingers Carr, whose Portuguese washerwoman and 6 great albums of bouncy rags and honky-tonk renditions are proof that music of a bygone era needn't stay put. Mixing ragtime and Dixieland requires a special touch, and the result are especially rewarding. In the hands, in the hands of 2 such notables as Fingers and Peewee. Again, somebody couldn't have put a stop to this before the idea even crossed the desk of a record executive. Anyway, okay, so that's Peewee and Fingers. The next gem is Mr. D Goes to Town. Go to town, Mr. D, on your organ. I love this couple here, just kind of like you got the organ bearing down on you, like we're trying to eat here, and we got this creepy guy with the goatee going to town on his organ. And look at his expression too, his expression like, gotta love it. So these liner notes are also very funny. His parents could never have thought of it, and his boyhood friends might not have believed it, but the name of Lenny D has been subject to so many turns and twists that the man might well have wished any other name for himself. In a way, he should be gratified. The D has been used as a prefix for a series of superlatives such as delightful, delirious, delicious.
How do you say de groovy? How do you say de gorgeous? How do you say delight, 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 delight?
The most, and even high defy, all of which have not only characterized his playing, but have been the titles of his highly successful albums. Lenny is at home in Sarasota, Florida, where, when his busy schedule will allow, he spends about 4 months of the year. His favorite pastime, and one that he is quite proficient at, is golf. A member of the Bobby Jones Golf Club in Sarasota, Lenny shoots in the low 80s. So it's always important to include somebody's golf score in the back of their liner notes. So anyway, love that. And then Rexella. Wasn't that a fairy tale? Was that like a Grimm's Brothers fairy tale about she was the poor stepdaughter who had to do all the biddings of the evil stepsisters, or am I thinking of a different one? I don't know, but Rexella. This is on the Sing-Chord record label. Rexella, a tribute to my wife. For 22 years, my charming wife has traveled with me to many parts of the world in evangelism. Her constant love for Christ has been a real inspiration to me. There have been some dark days when her weakened physical condition indicated that she might be unable to continue her vocal ministry. So what I'm getting from this douchebag is her husband and her manager and is running her ragged. Like, maybe if you didn't have her on such a punishing tour schedule, evangelizing, or whatever you want to call it, maybe she wouldn't be in such rough physical condition, but that's my own commentary here. However, God touched her and new strength has been imparted from his hand. This album features Rexella at her best. Her warmth and devotion to the Lord can be heard in every song. 7 million have listened to her ministry in live audiences. 7 million. And she is also the featured soloist on our worldwide radio broadcast each week. Rexella has been called kind, gentle, gracious, charming, loving, and obedient. Concerned. This is because she manifests the fruit of the Spirit. After 22 years of marriage, I can say that these terms describe her life. This album features Rexella singing a message, not just another singer seeking the praise of men. Don't know what to say about that, really. I'm assuming the Sing-Chord is a religious record label, but poor Rexella, toiling at the hands of her taskmaster husband, who is sending her to the far reaches of the globe to proclaim ministry at the expense of her own health and mental well-being, I'm sure. Okay, next one. Wanted, the Bordito Town, the Bandido, the 50 guitars of Tommy Garrett. 50 guitar. Come on, I can't even name 50 guitars. Eric Clapton can't even name 50 guitars. So I don't even know what this is all about. You've got the cool gatefold here with the die cut cover. And of course, there's liner notes. Nowhere in the world was life more lusty or more exciting than in those brawling, sprawling towns that dotted the map of Mexico. I'm going to stop with the accent. I don't know where I'm even pulling that from. That dotted the map of Mexico just south of the U.S. border only a few decades ago. The towns were wild, the inhabitants carefree, the living and loving, free and easy. And the music of these towns, these fighters and lovers expressed well their everyday philosophy of drinking full each day from life's overflowing cup of adventure. So, doesn't say a whole lot about Tommy Garrett going to town with his guns. What is it about guitar players and their guns lately on these records? So I don't know who Tommy Garrett. I am quite certain some of you do. So if you would care to enlighten me in your in my comment section. That would be most appreciated. Next one we have, to the tables down at Maury's. We have songs for getting together, drinking beer, and raising hell. Do these look like a bunch of hell raisers to you? There are countless songs for listening, dancing, and for everything from film backgrounds to nerve-wracking radio commercials, but the best loved songs are those that everyone can sing. These are simple, familiar tunes that give us all a lift. The singing of them are the best remembered moments of any get. No, they're not. They are not. They're the most embarrassing moment of any get-together, the most shame-inducing, pathetic. But in this collection, we have selected a program that is, for the most part, aside from a few clunkers that we stuck on here to pad out the album, inevitable at any party. For want of a name, because we couldn't think of a name, we called the group on this recording the Ivy Barflies. Ivy Barflies, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, these talented gentlemen, under the direction of Lee Gotch, are among the finest vocalists in Hollywood today. We are certain you will enjoy singing along with them as they recreate for you a night at a table down at Maury's. So we have the Whiff and Poof song. Ida, sweet as apple cider. Ida, sweet as apple cider. Apple cider. Shine on Harvest Moon. I don't think it's the same Harvest Moon Neil Young sang about. Cuddle up a little closer. Sweet Adeline. I don't think it's that song. Row, row, row your boat. Who hasn't, in a drunken binge, enjoyed singing along with Row, Row, Row Your Boat? I mean, that is such a classic drinking song. I have whiled many the hour away drinking pints with my pals singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. There's a tavern in the town, Schnitzelbank, Alouette. That's where my money goes. Yeah, that's where my money goes too, or at least it did before the pandemic. Now my money goes to buying cheap records about beer drinking people. Man on the Flying Trapeze. Seriously, how is Man on the Flying Trapeze a drinking song? Around her neck she wears a yellow ribbon. Web-footed friends. Now, this is, I've got the inner sleeve for this one too. This is thick vinyl. This is another stereo fidelity release. So anyway, I may have to put this one on later after I've had a couple of beers and see if hilarity ensues or not. But yeah, this has got Percy Faith, Conniff meets Butterfield, Ken Griffin, West Side Story. So anyway, I can't do this anymore, this video. But anyway, I don't even know what year this is. But so those are some 25-cent grabs that I found, and you know, I'll still keep seeking them out if you guys keep enjoying these videos. But anyway, thanks for watching, and take it easy.